I treat everybody like they're going to be my next CEO. Everybody. But I run my business like everybody's going to quit tomorrow. Leadership through confidence. Leadership through confidence. I just got off an Arete Syndicate call with Andy Frisella and Ed Milet, and they featured me as their guest speaker to speak for 20 minutes, myself and my brother Ryan. Ryan was a former Navy SEAL. We got to speak on this topic, and I thought, you know what? I'm going to bring this topic to you guys here today. My talk, my words, I'm going to deliver it to you in the similar way that I delivered it to entrepreneurs making 7, 8, and some 9 figures just 2.5 hours ago. Leadership through confidence. Why is it important? Why is it important? Now, this is a leadership call. So if it's your first week, your first day, congratulations. This is a high-level leadership call. This is about you learning to lead other people. That could be people in your home. That could be people at your job. That could be in ideally your business, which we're referring to tonight. But I first want to start off with, why is it important to understand the power of leadership through confidence right now? Let me tell you why. Is there a lot of uncertainty in the world right now? Let me see your hands. Is there a lot of uncertainty right now? Man, there's a lot of uncertainty in the home with kids, not knowing if they're going to be in school, getting sent home. There's a lot of chaos in the home right now, all across North America. There's a lot of uncertainty in relationships right now. I read an article today, divorce is up 34% year over year. In a province where divorce was already at 55%. But I read by January 2021, divorce is going to be up 51% year over year. Man, these are your colleagues. These are your teammates. In some cases, these are your employees. What else? There's a lot of uncertainty in the government right now. I don't care what side of the coin you are, but their perception of instability in the government has never been stronger. There's a perception of instability in the government that we've never seen before. And whether it's true or not, in my experience, perception is 9/10 of the law. If you're perceived to be something, you are, whether you're guilty or not of it. There's a lot of uncertainty in people's finances right now. Not only have they not saved enough money leading into 2021, they're draining their savings. And at least hardly anybody is doubling down on their net worth in times like this. So more than ever, in the history of my life, there has never been a more powerful time, a more important time for all of us to understand leadership through confidence. So I'm going to give you some keys. We're going to go as long as we possibly can. I'm going to pound a 45-minute talk into 17 minutes here that we have left. So take as many notes as you can. And who knows, you might just have to finish this up next week. All right, first thing I want you to write down. Leadership through confidence is consistent emotional intelligence. Consistent emotional intelligence. Man, I read all these books. I read all these blogs. Everyone's like, you need a high level of emotional intelligence. What the hell does high level of emotional intelligence mean? High compared to who? High compared to what? What does that mean? Let me bring it back. You need a consistent level of emotional intelligence. Consistency is key. Man, I'm not an avid bowler. In fact, I don't really love the sport. Please don't send me an email if you're like all American bowling. I don't mind the sport. It's just not for me. But I'll tell you what, you know when I do like to bowl? I love to bowl when they put those bumpers in the gutters. That's the only time I love to bowl. Because man, who likes to hit a gutter ball? There's nothing worse than going home after 20 gutter balls to demean myself as a man. So it's the same with your emotional intelligence. Your job is to stay between the ditches. Stay between the ditches. Not get too high, not get too low. So how do you do that? I'm going to get really specific here. How do you do that? How do you maintain a consistent level of emotional intelligence? You ready? The most important thing you can do is you need to be freakishly consistent. Freakishly consistent. Look, There's a time for you to be spontaneous. Like on date night, and you want to mix things up. You want to get a little wild, right? Awesome. Get a little wild on date night. Okay, don't do anything I wouldn't do, which doesn't leave a lot of things left, but it's okay to do that. But you know what it's not okay to be spontaneous with? It's not okay to be spontaneous with your attendance. It's not. Like if you're the kind of person that logs in 4 minutes late for every call, and that's just who you are, that's who you've become, that's not exuding confidence. What else can you be freakishly consistent with? How about things like your focus? Are you freakishly consistent with your focus? Like, are you laser focused on your focus? See, here's what most people do. Every single month that goes by, people just keep picking a different goal. This is my goal this month. Oh, I didn't even come close. This is my goal this month. Oh, surprise, I didn't even come close again. This isn't my, and the problem is that the reason that people don't come close is because they're not focused on it. They keep changing the game. Man, I had the opportunity to get to know Robert O'Neill pretty well at an Arte event. We had lunch together. Not sure if you know who Robert O'Neill is, but he's the Navy SEAL that killed Osama bin Laden. And I've spoken to Robert a few times. We had lunch together. You know what's crazy about the whole Osama bin Laden raid? When they were training for months. They had a simulated bunker. They knew where he was in Pakistan. They built a simulated home with the exact blueprint that Osama bin Laden was living in Pakistan. And they trained and they trained. You know what's crazy the whole time throughout the whole mission? The focus never changed. It was to get bin Laden. You know what they weren't saying to Robert? They weren't going, hey, Robert, like once we get bin Laden, we're going to get like this guy's in Iraq. We're going to go. No, it was bin Laden. That's it. One focus. Every day, every week, every month, every year until they got him. That's a mission. Leadership through confidence means you got to be freakishly consistent with your focus. Man, when you think nobody's watching, you're watching. You know. And if you're not freakishly consistent, how do you expect yourself to take you seriously? There might be some people on this call that, you know what, maybe your spouse doesn't want you to do WFG. Let's just call it what it is. Why are you spending time on that thing on a Wednesday night? You're not even making any money yet. It's one of those money things. Why are you doing that? Time away from your family. Well, put yourself in their shoes. Are you consistent? Are you showing up early? Are you dressed like $1 million? Are you proving that you're taking this thing seriously? Or are you inconsistent with your mindset, your attendance, your attire, your energy, your focus, your communication? Inconsistency is a guaranteed long-term failure plan. Guaranteed. At some point, you got to get consistent. Man, I'm a father of 3. I'm not perfect father, but man, I don't take days off being a father. I'm freakishly consistent with my energy, with my tone, with my communication. Here's the thing with being freakishly consistent with your tone. If you're consistent with your tone 80 to 90% of the time, hear me on this. This is deep leadership stuff. It works at home too. If people expect a certain level of consistency in your tone, the way you communicate, then when you really want to change your message, when you really want to resonate with somebody, when you really want to prove your point, you know what you have the ability to do? Change your tone. And when you change your tone, and you say something differently than you normally do, you lower your voice, people take you more serious because you've been consistent the entire time. Consistency is everything when it comes to emotional intelligence. It's so key. The second thing, my second point, leadership through confidence is leadership without a title. Leadership without a title. Man, I treat everybody like they're going to be my next CEO. Everybody. But I run my business like everybody's going to quit tomorrow. Is everybody going to be my next CEO? No. But what if you started to run your team like everybody is a volunteer? What if you realize that nobody really needs to be here? Everybody's here voluntarily. How would that start to change your mindset? What if you needed to build a culture where people are like, man, the only reason I want to go home is because I have some loved ones I want to kiss. But other than that, the way you make me feel is enough to make me coming back. And you know what, baby? I'll work for free just to be in this environment. That's leadership without a title. Man, corporate Canada, corporate America, they have it wrong. They got their CEOs and their VPs at the top. They got this big old corporate pyramid going. And if you're in the bottom of that pyramid, there's really no chance of you getting up to the top. How many people at a low-level environment are having lunch with CEOs or have their phone number or get 20 minutes of their time? None. Very rare. Unless you're the golden child of the company. And I'm not saying that leading without a title means you got to meet everybody for 20 minutes for coffee. It just means that you need to treat everybody with respect. Your next superstar, but running your business like they could be all gone tomorrow because there's no guarantee and they're all volunteers. I find that to be a great balance. Your job is to be that lighthouse where you lead without a title. And I appreciate the introduction from Guy. It doesn't matter to me that I'm an EVC. It doesn't matter to me that we're going to be an SCV. It matters, but it doesn't matter. Because whether you're making 100 grand on this call or it's your first day, if I'm responsible to help you grow, I'm going to help you grow. That's it. Until I take my last breath. That's leadership through confidence. That builds confidence in the team. That tells your team that you are in it to win it. That it's not just about the money. It's not just about the awards. It's not just about the title. When you lead without a title, you're instilling confidence in your team that you're in it for the long haul and there's something beyond even themselves that you're after. I got goosebumps. The third thing I want you to write down is this. Leadership through confidence is asking better questions. The questions you ask yourself shape your identity. The questions you ask your team shapes your team culture. What kind of questions are you asking yourself? What kind of questions are you asking your teammates? You know what's crazy about learning to ask questions to your teammates? When you ask strategic questions with intention to your teammates, they know they can feel it. But it builds confidence. They feel confident that you're operating with intention. And people that operate with intention do so because there's a vision. Yes or yes? You don't need to be intentional if there's no game plan. You don't need to ask strategic questions in order to capture a vision that doesn't exist. When you have the vision and it's clear, you can be intentional with the questions that you ask. A leader that leads through confidence is a leader that asks great questions. Like when you call your teammate, you say, hey, how are things going? And they're like, I kind of feel like I botched the appointment. And they're waiting. They're just waiting. Because if they go back 10 years and they told that to their dad, they might have got it. They might have got an answer that isn't what they wanted. If they would have told that to their old boss, it's an answer that they didn't really want to hear. Or their friend who thinks everything they've ever done is a scam, they've had feedback in their life. They've been conditioned. So when they call you up and say, hey, I had a miss on a sale, and there's that 2-second silence, the next line out of your mouth means everything to them in shaping how they think. And your response could be, hey, why don't you think it was your best appointment? Did you feel prepared? How do you think it went? Would you have changed something about it? Okay, great job. No problem. Don't sweat it. See, you build people when they're down and you challenge them when they're hot. You build people up when they're feeling down and you challenge the shit out of them when they're on top of the game. A few months ago, Colton Burr was coming off a 10 recruit, 40,000 point month. I think he was pretty impressed with his month. I pulled him aside and said, dude, that's all you got? 10 and 40? I said, what is this, a part-time thing for you? When are you going to get serious? He goes, yeah, you're right. I need to get serious. And that was my talk with him. And another gal on my team, single mom, going through some stuff. I reached out to her after and said, hey, I just want to commend you on being on the call tonight. I know what you're going through. Congrats. the questions that you ask, but it's also the questions you don't ask. You ever been at a job and you're like working hard and like somebody walks into your office and leans on the door and you can hear them coming? They're like the person that has the, like they're just waiting to make eye contact with somebody that wants to ask them a question. They're like, and you know what I do? They stand at my door, I'm typing, I look up and I go, hey. And they're like, hey. I look back up and I go, you gonna be here tonight? And they're like, yeah. I'm like, cool. See you at the meeting. And I keep typing. Sometimes it's the questions you don't ask that builds leadership through confidence. Do you really want your entire team seeing you drain your energy, getting involved in all these things, these gossip, you'll never believe who's hooking up with who and all this stuff within an organization? Or do you want to be the leader that rises above, that spends time on the important things? You need to know when to ask good questions, and to be quite frank, you need to know when to stay out of stuff. I don't play in the weeds. I don't deal with drama. I don't have drama on my team. Does it exist? Oh, probably. I got a few people on my team that could probably find it for you. They probably have a log of it. They keep track all the time. They tell everybody about it. No oxygen, no fire. I don't give it oxygen. I don't fan certain flames. Neither should you. So a good leader knows when to ask good questions and knows when to not ask a question at all. The next thing I want to talk about, number 4, is leadership through confidence, is your ability to see the next domino. It's your ability to see the next domino. Lots of leaders are good at focusing somebody on a target, getting the whole team focusing on a target. But the leader's job is to see the domino behind the domino. See, in a gun, when you line it up, there's 2 sights. There's a close one and there's the one at the end of the barrel. Your job as a leader is to get everybody focused on the one close up. But your job is to aim it with the second one. The reason people miss their goals every month is to say, I'm going to do 2 and 5 or 2 and 10. And they didn't do it in September. They didn't do it in October. So why not? Let's just say we're going to do it for November. And they keep pushing it out. That screams somebody that has no idea what's behind that goal. It's not about your associate promotion. This is not about you making $5,000 one time. There has to be something behind it. You got to get to MD in November so you can make $50,000 by March so that you can retire your spouse. So you can get her out of that job. So you can start to raise your kids the way you want to raise them. That's why MD in November. Your job as the leader is to get people to understand the domino behind the domino. Sometimes we're so in it, we can't see the forest for the trees. If you just keep pushing your goal, it doesn't mean anything. You commit, you don't do it. You commit, you don't do it. That screams the lack of ability to see what's behind the domino. That's a leadership quality and it instills confidence. Hey, Fatima, this is what 3/30 November means. It means you could be full-time by February. It means you could make $80,000 next year. And what would that mean? Man, how good would it feel to be in this environment 24/7? All day, every day. Man, it's the best feeling in the world, even if it's just on Zoom world. And the last thing I want you to write down is this. Leadership through confidence is first leading yourself with confidence. Do you believe in you? Would you follow you? And it's okay if the answer is no right now. But if it's no, I want you to lock yourself in a room this weekend for 3, 4, 5 hours. And I want you to come to terms with the fact that you're already good enough. You're already worthy of being followed. But are you clear with your purpose? Are you clear with your vision? Man, we are the bottleneck for our team. That's the truth. We are the bottleneck for our team. When you get on an airplane, the first thing they say is, hey, in case of emergency, put your own oxygen mask on first before assisting others. Well, how are you doing with that? How's your oxygen mask? How's your oxygen? How's your consistency? How's your vision? How's your focus? How's all the things that you can do that cost you no extra money? Things that you could just work at to get better at. How are those things going? Listen, I'm going to challenge everybody to increase their leadership through confidence muscle 1% this week. Do one thing that Guy and I talked about tonight to increase your capacity. And then I want you to send us a message, send us a DM. Let us know how it impacted you. So that's leadership through confidence. That's how you instill belief in your organization through this chaotic time. Hey, you want to get super big right now? You want to double down right now? There's never been a better time to be a leader that instills confidence in their team. And if you can be that beacon of hope, people will join you in droves that had no plans to be in the financial services industry. But when they're around you, you light them on fire. And they love the way they feel when they're in an environment with you. And they feel safe. And they feel like you have a plan for them even when they don't have a plan for themselves. That's leadership through confidence. You learn to do some of that, you learn to get good at some of those things, you'll build an empire. You'll be so glad you did.